When nobody is with you and you don't see success anywhere in sight, the only things left are you, your passion, and your belief. At least that's what keeps me going in my daily life. And I'm not trying to get famous or rich or anything. Rather, I'm working towards carving out my own small niche and spot in the market where I can make an honest living with something I'm truly passionate about, i.e. telling stories, playing with ideas and sharing wisdoms through writing fiction, creating content and so on. But that's easier said than done, since what you're passionate about isn't necessarily what other people are interested in or need. So the challenge is finding that famous intersection of what you're good at, what you like doing and what the world needs. And for both my first novel as well as this YouTube channel, I'm beginning to see what that intersection could look like and how you can find your own as well, and why you should bother with that in the first place. Let's start with my novel. But to understand what my novel is about, I first have to explain what inspired it. I recently saw this reel where it was said that your passion for something is what makes you a genius at it. Fittingly, Albert Einstein said, "I have no special talents, I'm only passionately curious." So it seems to check out. Also, people say what you're excited about is connected to your meaning. And that's exactly what I want to explore in my novel. The story revolves around a shapeshifter detective on the hunt for the meaning of life. He has an animal family back home with all sorts of animals from birds to insects to lizards, and he writes letters home to his family in each chapter. Those letters are delivered by his lizard mailman friend from him to his family and vice versa. And the core mechanism is that every time someone remembers a forgotten letter, memory, passion, or relationship, etc., the shapeshifter detective gets shifted into a different realm through a tunnel. And in the next realm, he continues his hunt for meaning until something is remembered again, and so on. So with this mechanism I came up with, I have created two restrictions for my own story. One, the detective can only change realms when somebody remembers something. Without it, he's stuck in the same realm. And two, in each chapter, the detective has to write a letter back home, so that each chapter becomes a mix of regular storytelling and letters. That's a format restriction, so to speak. That way, with those two restrictions, in each chapter I have to find different ways how someone remembers something and triggers the change of realms, and how to combine letters with regular storytelling. Now, my story takes on a more unique character because of those two restrictions I've created for myself. Hence, I can experiment with a different format from the usual one, connect different ideas to come up with creative ways to work with those restrictions, and I'm excited about that. So I will make a more in-depth video about my novel soon, and for now I just want you to know, being a nobody is exactly the best phase to be in on your creative journey, because you've got the two golden things working together for you. A, you have the freedom to experiment with all kinds of different styles and with your craft, and to be free and fail and try different stuff that works or doesn't work, exactly because no one knows you yet and no one cares about you yet. So you can freely experiment with your craft and find your very own style through it. And B, you have the creative restrictions of not yet having success, which would give you or buy you more options, equipment, etc. But exactly because you have these restrictions and you need to figure out ways to work with what you have to create what you envision, or find something else entirely that turns out to be even better than anything you could have imagined, as I've shown you in the example above. So that's where your best and most creative work with the most character and personality will emerge. So when you're a nobody with no sign of success yet, you have these restrictions that make you figure out creative ways to work with them, combined with the freedom to experiment, which breeds your creativity and improvement. Another quote from Rumi that pairs well with this is, "If you don't see any light around you, look again, you may be the light." So if there's no light at the end of the tunnel in sight, you are the light. And your doing and creating actively creates that light, which sooner or later leads you out of that tunnel and towards success. Let me give you another example. This YouTube channel right here. Lately, I've been feeling that whenever I go online, there are only two emotions really: anger and emptiness. There's no real satisfaction. Because when you watched a movie as a child, at the end of it, you felt like getting off the couch and having your own adventure, right? But now, when I open social media, after I finished one video, I just click on the next one and the next without ever getting up and doing anything. And somehow I know that this is wrong, yet I keep doing it. And I think I figured out the reason why. You open social media and keep on scrolling because you didn't find satisfaction to what you were looking for, whether it was an answer to a question or an emotion you wanted to feel. And then you get distracted with videos you didn't ask for, and after some time you forget why you even came here in the first place. So what's the solution? The solution is define a question, search for it, filter out any videos that don't relate to it, and take notes on the answers to your question. Or if you want to feel an emotion, write down what the emotion is, and then search for a video, or better yet, a movie that matches that mood. And if after some time you can't find the answer or emotion, then you might as well log off and create it yourself by going after it in the real world. Whether it's through singing, writing a story, talking to someone, creating art in whatever form, etc. That's the only solution I found to this problem until now. However, there's another part to why you might feel empty or unfulfilled when you go online and research your dreams, for example. And it's survivorship bias. There is a famous example of this from warplanes. So airplanes that made it back from war were analyzed to improve their armor for the next battles. And red spots marked where the planes were shot. Mostly it was in the body and wings, and no shots on the head, the tail or the engines. But the red dots are from the planes that survived, so you don't need to put more armor on the red dots you can see. In fact, you need to put more armor on exactly the white spots without any red spots, since the planes that didn't make it back were shot right there. That's survivorship bias. So equally, when you see advice online from successful people in any business or craft, there are also the planes that made it back. But there are many, many more planes that didn't make it back, many creators and craftsmen that didn't make it in their endeavors. So I want to both document my own journey and my own failures and successes, as well as talk to some other creatives and share their failures and journeys as far as they will allow me to share, of course. That way I can give you the armor that you need to put on exactly those blind spots. That's the whole point of this channel, to be the antidote to survivorship bias. That's what I strive to be, at least. Because it might just be that I don't make it and I have to earn money with something else. But then at least you have the journey of a plane that didn't make it back, and you can learn from it. And if I go down, at least I go down fighting for my dream. And I encourage you to do the same. Even if you have a study program or a job, you can still make just half an hour of time by quitting scrolling or watching the TV for half an hour in the evenings, for example, to work on your dream. Because working on your dream is way more exciting than watching the TV or YouTube anyways, at least in my experience. And as Jim Carrey said, you can fail at what you don't like, so you might as well take a chance at doing what you love. So this is me taking my chance at doing what I love and documenting my journey towards it. And if I fail and don't make it, at least people will know me as someone who went down fighting for his dream. And if no one knows me and I remain a nobody in the market and the online world, at least it's out there so that when time passes and someone does stumble upon my videos, the whole story and journey of me is there for you to learn from. So that's the whole point of this channel, and that's my reason why I keep doing this, why I keep going with this. And I'm sure you can find your own reason and belief as well. If you have any difficulties or questions in doing so, feel free to leave them in the comments below so I can help you out with a response or even a whole video. So I hope to see your story and your questions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, don't forget, if you see no light around you, then you are the light, and you can create your own light by believing in your dream and yourself and taking action.